Oh, so hey y'all. I'm giving things just a second. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I'm live on. I'm trying to see. I'm pretty sure I'm live on Facebook, and I'm also okay. So I'm live on Facebook, and I'm also live here on TikTok. So my name is Portia. I'm just Portia today. Um, I think I'm doing this video. Hey, think I'm doing this video just because um, the video that I posted last night was like my like genuine reaction of just kind of walking into your apartment. So one thing I'm not afraid to be vulnerable, and I'm not afraid to cry in front of other people, like judgment of others. I don't know at this point, especially one woman who may or may not be going through the same thing. The question most people have, especially a lot of men, right, is like, why did he leave? So people leave because they want to leave. So the first thing I'm going to say is, just because Brian left doesn't make him a bad person, right? He absolutely has the right to leave. Like that's his absolutely has the right to leave. I personally am very cautious of the way that I do things because I believe in karma, and because, right, as a woman, I've been told when I should handle things more gracefully, or when I should be more tactful in situations, or when I should be more caring in situations. So I've been told those things, and those things have been like ingrained in me. So I'm very cautious of how I do things. Unfortunately, I didn't get that in return. So, first things first is I have a very ugly cry. My sister-in-law teases me about it all the time. I have a very ugly cry, so like it is what it is. I'm here right now, like completely bare and bare in my soul. Okay, so am I stupid? Probably yes. Do I feel embarrassed and ashamed? Absolutely. Uh, were there warning signs there? Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, for some reason, my entire relationship. So I've been with Brian on and off, right? When we're on and off, right? Since we were 15 years old, we made a commitment to each other, and we got married when um, we were 29 years old. So right after I had lost my mom, he proposed to me. Have there always been warning signs there? Absolutely. But when you grow up, and I'm just sharing my story. This has nothing to do with him. So, like, nothing to do with him, right? Only he can share his story. That has nothing to do with him. I'm sharing with you my story. So, I stayed in a relationship with a man for years and years and years and years, right? Because we grew up together. He was the first person, the first male outside of my family to tell me that he loved me. And for me, that meant something to me. He was the first person. We were 15 going on 16 years old. So he was the first person to tell me that. And I did not take that lightly. So throughout the relationship, I have changed a lot as a person. I was molested when I was a child by a family member. So my self worth has never been there. I have always gotten my self worth from being with Brian. I'm just gonna be real. I have always gotten my self worth from other people. I have always gotten my self worth from other men, especially in the area. I grew up without my father. So I was molested and I grew up without my father. So even though I didn't know at the time why I was behaving the way that I was behaving, I know that about myself now, right? That's part of self growth. So I know that about myself now, or whatever. So I have everything that I have done has been because I just want Brian to love me, right? And though that's my responsibility, right? I have to take responsibility there. So everything I've done has been because I want to love me. Period. So when I needed to change something about myself, it was something that he didn't like. I changed that thing about myself. But when I publicly, I was that's where we were in that place. I was happy in that time, so I shared that time with him. Um, I shared that space. Like I celebrated him. I did things, to uplift my husband, publicly or whatever, because that's the type of that's the type of things that I was looking for in return. So, um, all the criticism, like you couldn't, I can tell you, most people couldn't walk 2 minutes. Like, and it just kind of is what it is. So to kind of get up to this point, for me coming home to a completely empty place, right? So prior to this, I have been doing a lot of work, especially I'm gonna say within the last year and a half. And if you follow me on Facebook, you'll really see in my posts like how my post have transitioned in a year and a half. And my goal is to be a better person so that I can be better not only for me but to the people that are in my life or whatever. So I've been doing a lot of work on myself personally. I've done self love coach training. Recently became a self love coach, and I came home yesterday. I recently became a self love coach, and that's kind of instilled some qualities in me that I didn't have at first, and I started to view things a little bit differently. So I sat on the floor one day and I told my husband, I said, "Hey, I really want to try entrepreneurship full time." No, it wasn't just about like someone smart try to say my MLM business. No, it wasn't just about their business or whatever. I had become a certified self-love coach. So I sat on the floor and I told the man that was is my husband how I felt, how my job was draining, how I felt it didn't serve any purpose. I'm a very purpose-driven person. How it didn't serve any purpose, and how I really needed his support. I really wanted his support. His support was really important to me because I wasn't just doing this for me. I was doing this for the both of us. Like I'm that woman who wants to retire her husband. Like little tappets around. Like I want to be like that. So his support was very, very important to me. So when I sat on the floor and poured my heart out to my husband and told him my plans and my vision or whatever, to be told his exact words were, the only way that I can support your dreams is for us to live separately. I'm gonna tell you why that hurt me so much. When my husband decided that he wanted to own his own Avis budget, this was a few years ago. He wanted to run his own Avis budget. I didn't tell him any reasons why he couldn't do it. I needed him only to see the reasons why he could do it. So when he went to Avis budget, I left the employer that I was working at Avis budget. I finished graduate school, and I also worked with him full time to support his dream as his assistant manager. He brought other people in and paid people more than he paid me. That's fine because I'm working this dream and this vision with, and it's important to your happiness, your well being, and all this good stuff, right? So I went in the trenches with him and I worked with him. Later on, after us like not having their business anymore or whatever, because it was about 8 months and it took a toll on us. We were working 14-hour days. We were driving at least an hour away from where we were living then, and it actually got to be too much. So he left that opportunity or whatever. He went through a really big state of depression, which I didn't know at the time. He was blaming me for a lot of things. He said that I wasn't the type of assistant manager that he needed me to be. Like all these things, right? I took all of it on the chin or whatever, and I came back and I told him, why, while you may see these things as a failure, I admired him for taking the chance and taking the risk when it came to Avis budget. One, not a lot of people get to um live out their dream or go for opportunities like that. So I admire that. He was able to get the income and the capital, to start their business because he had to have payroll and all that good stuff. Like these are things that I admired and I verbalized to him. Like I was very, very proud of him. So even if he took it as a failure, it really wasn't. Hey y'all, it really wasn't a failure because he got to do something that so many people didn't get to do. So fast forward to us sitting in counseling because once he told me we had to live separately in order for him to support my dreams, we had to live separately. I was like, well, maybe we need to go to counseling. We've been to counseling a few times. Maybe we need to go to counseling. We need to go to counseling and actually, while you're being smart, I wasn't a self-love coach at that time. If you listen to the story, I actually became a self-love coach here recently within the last few months or whatever. And I did notice my husband was depressed. That's why I allowed him to do what he needed to do in the healing process, what he needed to do to heal. And I was there for him actually when he went through that process. So while you're running your mouth and you don't know who I am or whatever, that's just your answer to that question. And I don't mean to sound like that, but it's just kind of what it is. Um, so I'm sorry about that, y'all. But he went through his process and stuff. So when he told me that the only way he could support me going after my dreams was because it made him uncomfortable. He absolutely has the right to be uncomfortable. Like I would never ever take anyone's feelings away from them. That's the biggest difference between my husband and I. I let you feel what you feel and I honor your feelings. So it made him uncomfortable. So we went to counseling and the goal was to eventually come to an understanding where we would stay together, right? So my counselor if asked me what I needed in order to for us to stay in the same household and to continue our marriage. And I told my husband what I needed in order to stay. And all I needed was for him to support my dream. So when I say support my dream, I'm gonna tell you this. I've always paid my bills. My husband and I have always kept our money separate. I've always paid my bills. The car that I drive, I pay my car note. A car note has insurance. I pay the insurance on their car. Any credit card bills that I've had, I pay my credit card bills. Any educational expenses I've had, I pay my educational expenses. Any investing that I've done in my businesses, I pay those expenses or whatever. And then my husband came up with the plan. He said, "Hey, I need an additional $600 towards household expenses." So, with all my individual bills, I also contribute $600 to the actual household. So when I talk about support, it was for my husband to be on my side and to be in my corner and to support me emotionally. It was never about financially. I never wanted to give up contributing to the household. So that's the thing that really, really hurts through all of this. So fast forward, I go to Vegas. There was a comment, oh, well, you went to Vegas. Going to Vegas is more important. One, I go to Vegas every year for my business, and it's between 5 days. I actually invited my husband to go to Vegas with me. He said no because he wanted to use his time to take a trip for his vacation during his birthday. His birthday is in November, so he's like, "Well, I want to go and do a trip in November or whatever for my birthday." And I'm going to keep that time for that. Okay, cool. So I extended it. So I actually wanted him to come so he could see why my business was so important to me. At least one of my businesses. I have three businesses. So at least why this particular business is so important to me, and I don't want to give up on it. And a lot of people who have like side businesses and side hustles, it never becomes more than a side business or a side hustle because we're too busy putting our energy into other things. So all I wanted was a chance to put all of my energy into this thing, even if he had given me a time frame, into this thing that I feel like will grow exponentially and will be a foundation like to generational wealth for us. So all I needed was some time and support. And that's all I was asking for. I was never asking to escape my responsibilities, like to my household. Like I'm always very clear that this is what's expected of me when it comes to the household. So I was never expecting to escape those responsibilities. So when I was in Vegas, there was communication in Vegas, but then all of a sudden the communication stopped. And I was like, we weren't fighting or anything. Like, I don't understand, like, why or whatever. And the thing that gets me the most is like in my spirit, I know he stole my ring or whatever. Help me look for the ring. And he knows that he has the ring. Help me look for the ring, knows that he have it or whatever. But when I walked into that apartment, and I saw that everything was gone. I was expecting to see him sit on the couch. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I don't care if you feel I should have done this or that, because truthfully, you don't know the situation unless you're in the situation. But nobody deserves to be left like that. Absolutely nobody. I wouldn't wish it on my enemy. And I can say that because I would never, never have done him like that. All the things that we have been through, all the spiteful things, never look to get him back. Like it's not in my spirit. Like if I say I'm going to be with you and I'm going to, to support you, that means that I'm agreeing to move past any hurt or whatever. When we're in counseling, y'all, there was things from when we were 16 and 17 years old with my husband. So he holds on to things, but I'm more likely to let those things go. So I really feel like that's the reason why this hurts. It hurts the most. There's a bit of relief for me, to be honest. Because if you've never been in a relationship, and this is my responsibility, right? If you've never been in a relationship where you have been made to feel this small all the time, where you need to change things about yourself, more times than not, when they're not satisfied with who you are, more times than not. If you've never been in a relationship like that, then you couldn't possibly understand the places I speak from. But all I ever wanted was for my husband to love me for me. And it took the last year or so for me to realize that that I am special and that I deserve, we all deserve to be loved the way that we deserve to be loved. You see what I'm saying? We all have love languages and stuff like that, things that are important to us. And my love language is affirmation. So communication is very important to me. So I would never just run out on you without communicating with you about it. Like I've been blocked on social media. I've been blocked from his phone, like all this stuff. Like I was blocked ahead of time. Like he was like, I'm done. Peace out. Like your closure is not my problem. And you know what? In a way, I can appreciate that because it forces me to take a long, hard look at like who I am, and it forces me to, to deal with it or whatever. Like, I'm not innocent. I'm not perfect. I hate that we have to say that or whatever. That like this is just me sharing my story. I place no blame. Like I said at the very, very beginning, Brian absolutely had the right to want to leave. Like that's his right to want to leave. Maybe he owed me nothing at all. Maybe he owed me nothing at all. But I would have never taken everything that was because he feels righteous and right in what he did, right? But I would never take everything that we accumulated during a marriage. I would never take everything that we accumulated during a marriage and just take it for myself, and then just be out. Like no communication or nothing. Like That's not me, but it's just kind of what happens. So no, we don't have any kids. Somebody asked me about my son. I'm a Sagittarius and he's a Scorpio. We don't have any kids, by the grace of God. But for those of you on TikTok, like you don't know, like a lot of my story, more of you on Facebook do. But like I actually been wanting kids here lately, like, and it's really been on my spirit, like I want kids or whatever. But it was God's plan that I didn't have children with my soon to be ex husband. It hurts. My mom never got married before she passed away. So the first example that I had of a marriage was actually my little sister, my younger sister or whatever. She got married first, and it sucks, y'all. I'm open and honest, and I can have all the. I'm open and honest. I can deal with like all the laughter, the judgment, and this and the other. Oh, you were stupid, and this and the other. Like I take all of that on the chin or whatever. You internet gangsters. You guys have a lot to say, but I will say this: the amount of support that I have received has absolutely been overwhelming, and I thank each and every one of you guys who girl, I don't care about them laughing. I absolutely thank each and one of you guys for your support and reaching out to me personally. It's a lot more women who've been through stuff like this than I ever knew. It's crazy that this happened to me this week because last week I was in the beauty shop and there was this lady sharing her story and she said that her husband did her the same way. She came home and he had cleared out everything. He had cleared out everything and she was just like, she didn't tell her family. She didn't tell her family for a while or whatever, and she just kind of suffered in silence. It was important for me to share my video and not suffer in silence because I believe like there can be no healing where there's no light. And if I hide this, one, I'm not sharing my story, which could possibly be beneficial for someone else. Um, and two, like you don't get any real healing when when you hide things. I know because I hid things a long time and it took me to actually go to counseling and get the things that I need. You said, did he want kids? I believe he wants kids. It's weird because he looked me in my face one day and said, I'm answering some questions on TikTok, y'all. But he looked in my face one day and said that he wanted kids with me. But obviously that changed somewhere down the line. That changed somewhere down the line. So I don't know. I'm not the woman that doesn't necessarily ask questions. I do ask questions, but it's up to you if you want to communicate things with me or not. So that's that. I have somebody else asking me why did he leave? He left because he wanted to leave. Like I'm not blaming him for that, right? He left because he wanted to leave. Any other answer that I give you will be will be me speculating. He left because he wanted to leave. Why did he leave without talking to me? Right? That's a question, right? I don't know. I thought I was coming home to my husband sitting down on the couch and he was gonna tell me why he stopped texting me in Texas. Like, I mean, why he stopped texting me when I was in Vegas. Like, did I say something? Did I do something? Like, why you upset? Like, I was expecting those to have that conversation. So why he left because he wanted to leave. And that's absolutely his right to leave. Like, so it's the way that he left that hurts the most. But like I said, maybe he didn't owe me anything. He didn't cheat on me, to my knowledge. He didn't cheat on me at all. So I would never put him on that. Like he didn't cheat on me. Um, did I have any clues? Probably so. Like my husband has always been someone who likes things done a particular way, and I always dealt with it. But it was during the last maybe year and a half. I know for the last year for sure, where I'm doing this self discovery and kind of finding my self worth that these other spirits kind of come out. Um, I've been told that people notice a spirit of jealousy in him. I don't know. I always try to see him in this space of like light, and love. I always try to see her from like my perspective. So me coming home and to an empty place was completely, yeah. So I'm getting asked if he cheated again. To my knowledge, he never cheated. So I won't put that on him. He never cheated, to my knowledge. So um, it was just he got tired of something and he left, and his that's absolutely his right to do something else. I went to Vegas because I go to Vegas once a year for my business trip. I take a business trip, but I invited him. I invited him. We've been together since we were 15. I'm 34 now. We've been together since we were 15. It was on and off in the beginning. We were young, we're trying to grow up. And then, we got married and we made these vows to each other. And, there's a lot of things that he felt he put up with. There's a lot of things that I felt that I put up with. The thing about me is I'm gonna tell you both sides all the time. Uh, yeah. So unfortunately, Facebook. I'm also live on TikTok. Unfortunately, I can't really answer like why he left. I'll say that again. Like he left because he wanted to leave. But did I ask questions? Yes, I asked questions. Like I'm texting him, we're texting each other, and I'm thinking everything is all good. And then I come home to an empty home. Like I said, when I left for Vegas, we weren't fighting. I invited him to the Vegas trip. He said that he needs to save that time for his birthday trip, which is completely understandable. When you're working for somebody else, you have to request time off. So, like, I don't know. So, yeah, you're right. Trey, you're probably right. So the part where Trent's, yeah. I was actually fortunate enough to listen to Trent Shelton like last week, and well, this past week, actually just Friday. He said, sometimes God will move things for you. I don't know if y'all can hear a little bit of the relief in my voice, right? It's funny. Thank you, Sandra. I don't know if you can hear a little bit of relief, like in my voice. Like it's really tough when you place so much of your value in somebody else's hand, and then he some kind of way you find yourself. And nobody cheated, y'all. Like nobody cheated. When I got married, like for real. When he got married. So as far as body parts go, like our body parts were kept to ourselves, period. Like nobody cheated or whatever, but it was something in him where he was uncomfortable with me chasing my dreams. And maybe there were other things that he was uncomfortable with too, but he never talked to me about it. Unfortunately, like you can't make somebody talk to you. Um, so I'll be okay. I just kind of want to hop on and like share that. I ex- didn't expect like all the support that I'm very very grateful for. Because for a long time you're convinced that you're by yourself. So I've been crying all morning. I probably I probably cried the worst yesterday. Probably cried the worst yesterday. I actually, like I said, I broke a glass to kind of release some of the anger, but um, I know it's a lot of women out there now I'm not gonna say had to go through certain situations, right? Because no one should have to go through this. Like no one deserves situations like this. But we all have a bit of our story, and um, I just wish everybody like healing and blessings. I'm not. Yeah, that. Yeah, it's it's a lot, and I would like to properly articulate and give you like everything that I feel. Unfortunately, that is impossible. But yesterday took a lot out of me, but every day I know that every day will get better. Like when I lost my mom, like that was the hardest day of my life, right? But every day got better, like with time. So um no, we don't have any kids together. And I am hurt. Like I'm not crying right now, but when I hit this when I hit this stop button, I could very well, go into a crying spell because it's a lot. You don't think. So I just kind of want to come on and share that the support has been overwhelming. I've kind of, gotten some slick comments and some slick hate, especially from guys, right? From men, but that's kind of what guys do, right? They try to band together. So do what you feel. It doesn't change who I am because I know that I'm a genuinely good person. And I'm not gonna say that he's this or that. This was his way of dealing with things. I simply shared a video like you came home and everything was gone. You feel the way too. Yeah, y'all. He left. He left because he wanted to leave. He left because he wanted to leave. Let's just pretty. No, we're not still talking. He blocked me on all social media. And that was prior to me coming home and seeing like all of this. Something happened. I don't know. This was his way of dealing with things. So maybe right. He needed a clean break, and this is his way of taking the clean break or whatever. Like I'm not here. Like I'm absolutely no one's victim. I will never, after what happened to me as a child and several times, like I'm absolutely no one's victim ever again in life. This was his way of dealing with things. This is the way that he chose to deal with things. And it's unfortunate. And I know I post like these happy pictures and these happy videos. We don't really know what's going on in somebody's relationship, right? So we tend to post the happier times. We tend to post those happy moments. But unfortunately, he was not in a place to support where I am right now. And any, I would never take back my love. I would never take back any support that I gave to him. I would never take back any time that we spent together because I got to learn and grow from everything. So this was shared because I know somebody needed this, and also for myself, right? So what you may not know about me is I've tried to commit suicide in the past. So sometimes we document things out loud to hold ourselves accountable and to show up with like more power and more transparency, sharing more of our story. We show up, even greater or whatever to get to the other side, like as a part of my accountability. Because I've suffered from suicidal tendencies before. I've tried to kill myself before. So um, I'm just looking at some comments. I mean, that could very be true. Someone on TikTok, y'all, said that maybe it was insecurity or jealousy. I don't know. I won't put anything on him, but he left the way that he left because he felt that it was best for him. So all we can do at the end of the day is what's best for us. And this is unfortunate that he thought this was best for him. But I will tell you this or whatever. I am glad. See, let me tell you about God though. God already knew that this was going to happen. and he put me in a place where I was mentally stronger than I've ever been before. Because had I been my former self, my weaker self, I probably would have ended my life immediately. Like they would have found me dead in the empty apartment had I been my former self. So I'm grateful and looking forward to coming out on the other side. Um, so y'all, did nobody cheat? Did nobody cheat? We kept our parts to ourselves. Like nobody cheated, nobody hold hands with nobody else. Like not to my knowledge, anyway. Hanging with somebody else, and I never asked for those things. I never looked for those things. So um, this was just his way of dealing with things. So thank you. So you guys, I just came on to kind of, I don't know. I shared a video yesterday and came on to kind of clarify that. And no, I'm not okay, but I will be okay. Like I'm not okay right now. Like I'm in the trenches trying to figure it all out. I've never been through a divorce before. It's like I had never been through a marriage before. So this is all a learning experience. And it'll be a learning experience for him too. So thank y'all. And thank you so much for your support and for your love. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day and have a good one, y'all. You guys too.